10.4, add and subtract fractions with x. Directions say to perform the operation, express your answers as a single fraction in simplest form. When you're adding and subtracting fractions, you must have common denominators. You must, okay? So number one, I obviously don't have the same bottom numbers. So a lot of the times, the same bottom number will come from just multiplying the denominators together because you're thinking the least common multiple of 3 and 5. So if I counted by 3s and I counted by 5s, the first number I'd get to that they both share is 15. Well, 3 times 5 is 15. And it's also going to need a times x. So what I like to do is go ahead and make one big fraction with that 15x on the bottom. Then I have to figure out each denominator, what does it need to get multiplied by to make it match? So 3x times a 5 would make this be 15x. But if I multiply the bottom, I got to multiply with the top by that same number. 2 times 5 is 10. This is making sure that I keep a fraction and get it to be equivalent to its original. And then 5 times what makes 15x? That would be a 3x. So I have to multiply the top by 3x. There is a negative here, so that's like a negative 1 times 3x is negative 3x. And I don't see anything that can divide out or anything that can simplify, so really this is the answer. And you might be thinking, well, how come I can't divide out an x? Well, these terms go together. They're a quantity, so if you can't divide something by this number and this number, can't take it out at all. All right, number 2. This one's not quite like this one where I have to multiply. My least common multiple of 5 and 25 is actually 25, but I have to also have x. So everything that shows up that's unique has to be in it, and then the least common multiple has to be in it as well. Okay, so then I'm thinking 5x times what makes 25x? That would be times 5. So I take the top times 5. 5 times 2 is now 10. Okay, plus is easier. So 25 already matches, but it needs a times x to make a match. 1 times x is x. And then that would be my answer. Okay, number 3. I have two totally different things, 4 and x. So the least common multiple will be 4 times x. So this 4 needs a times x, and this x will need a times 4. That would be x times x is x squared. That's like a negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. And so again, I can't take an x from both of those top terms, so that's all I can do. And then number 4 has x's and y's in it. That's the only difference. So I'm using the most amount of x's I see. I never want to go smaller than a number or variable. I want to go the most. So x squared is all I see of x's actually. Y squared and y cubed, I'm going to go with the bigger amount. Because what's happening is I can always multiply these things to make them be bigger, but I can never make like this y cubed be smaller to match. You're always going that or bigger. And so this would need a times x squared. And this just needs a times another y. So x squared times 1 is x squared, plus 1 times y is y. That's all I can do.